So there is Narva train station. There's the train I arrived on from Tallinn, and I will be here for 5 hours. And I came here to see the Estonia-Russia border, so let's head over there now. So you can see the sign there says border crossing point in English on the bottom. And here is the border crossing for the Estonian side. Now you'll notice there's no cars. That's because the Russians are renovating their side of the bridge, so it's closed to cars, and that's why all the people are lined up, because it's only open to foot traffic. So all those people lined up over there are going to be crossing into Russia. So all those people will enter into that brick building over there, just to the side of this, that one right there, and that's where they'll go through the Estonia side leaving, and then they'll walk across the bridge and go through the Russian side once they get to Russia. And the same will be true for people in Russia coming to Estonia. They'll clear it on their side, and then they'll end up in that brick building once they cross the bridge, and then they'll go through it in Estonia, and if they're let in, then they'll come out right over there. So this is the bridge that everyone has to cross. So all these people right now are coming from Russia, and they'll walk up here and they'll go into that brick building, and that's where Estonian immigration and customs is set up at. And if they're allowed in, once they go through it, if they're allowed in, then they'll enter into Estonia, and if not, I'm assuming they'll be sent back to Russia. And you can see that lady with the red bag. She is walking the other way, so she's going to Russia. So that is Russia right there. That castle is in Russia. The border runs down the river. You can see Russia's flag right there. And there's the bridge that the people have to walk across. And of course, this is the Estonian side. There's Estonia's flag. Pretty cool. This is my first time ever actually seeing Russia, seeing Russian land. So this is all, of course, in Estonia here. But everything that way is in Russia. So my plan is to go down there by the river and look at the border from that angle. But this is super cool. I'm such a nerd when it comes to border crossings. I always love watching border shows and going to border crossings like this one, crossing borders. So I'm super excited to be here. Let's just say that. Here's a better look at the border crossing. Like I said, it's closed. This one is for right now. I just now saw this sign that says border station that way. It's just at the end of the road down there. Pretty cool. So here's a good shot of the border. Estonia, the border crossing bridge, and Russia. You can see Estonia's flag right there. It's kind of hard, and then the Russian flag is flying right above my finger there. Might be kind of hard to see, but there's a Russian border post right there above my finger, marking the Russian border. And you can see Russia's flag right there, the border crossing bridge, and Estonia. Pretty cool. 50 yards that way, I will be in Russia, and people in Russia 50 yards this way, and they will be in Estonia. I also just wanted to point out this is a really relaxed and calm border crossing, which I know is only open to pedestrians at the moment, but even down here by the river, you know, there's no Estonian border guards down here, there's no Russian border guards watching over there to make sure no one tries to illegally cross here. Now this water is fairly fast moving, but you think certainly someone could probably swim across that or kayak across that, but I'm assuming that must not be much of a problem, otherwise they would have border guards stationed down here as well. There's a better look at the border crossing bridge. And you might be able to see back there some construction equipment where the Russians are renovating their side of the bridge. And then Estonia. See Estonia's flag. See barbed wire right there, barbed wire fence. Then the 3 flags back there. The first one is NATO, then Estonia, and then the European Union flag. So that'd be the first thing you see when you enter into Estonia. And I'm sure Russia probably has a flag, or their flag on their side of the bridge. And there's a better look at the flags. NATO, Estonia, and European Union. And this is the border crossing bridge here. I think somewhere over here is probably as close as I can get to Russia. Yep, probably about right in this area. So that is an Estonian border marker. That's pretty cool. There's the flags again. There's a better look at the bridge from above. Might be hard to see, but there's 2 Estonian border guards right there on the bridge. And they're just about to the midway point, which I imagine is where the international border runs through. Pretty cool. So you can see those people, or not that one, those people are going to Russia and that person is coming to Estonia. So you can actually see the bridge run this way. And then the Estonian checkpoint is right up there. So this might be a better angle to see it, but there's actually a gate that runs right in the middle of the bridge, and it's closed obviously because there's no cars and the area for pedestrians is open. And there's one Russian border guard. He's just walking kind of back and forth on the Russian side, and then there was 2 Estonian border guards over here that were walking. But then of course the rest of the Russians will be, in their immigration and customs office once you cross the border, and then the rest of the Estonian ones would be just down there where they do their check at. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but there's a set of concrete barriers with barbed wire on them there, and there's some right up there near the gate, and then Russia has just one set on their side. That way, I guess, in case a car were to somehow get on the bridge, there's no way they can make it through. You can see the signs on the bottom. The one on the far left says no goods with custom declaration. Actually, all 3 with the green markings do, and then the one with the red marking said goods with customs declaration. So that would be if you're in a car and you have something to declare, then that would tell you what lane you need to get in. There you go. There's a good shot of the bridge. and that's where the Estonian border guards are set up, where they'll check passports, visas, if you need one, and luggage, ask questions, things like that. And then if it was open to cars, of course, this area would also have border guards in it, Estonian border guards. I'll try to remember later to show you the border crossing at the train station. Now it's not open because as far as I'm aware, the rail border crossing is closed. This is the only one that's open, but they have everything set up at the train station, so I'll try to make sure to take a video of that to show you guys that as well. So right now I'm going to get lunch, but I have to say Narva seems to be a pretty peaceful and relaxed town. So I'm back at the main border area. You can see there's quite a few people lined up to go to Russia. So all these people are going to be going to Russia. They're just waiting to get inside the Estonian checkpoint so they can leave the Schengen zone, and then they'll cross the bridge, and then they'll go to the Russian side and deal with the Russian border guard. So I'm back at this one, which is off to the side of the main area. See border station. And the customs control zone sign. An area where cars would enter to go to Russia, and then where cars from Russia would exit once they were approved to be in Estonia. So I've been standing up here watching the border crossing. Like I said earlier, I love border crossings, I love border TV shows, anything to do with border guards, country entry exit requirements. I love all that stuff, so it's always cool whenever I can come to a border crossing and see what it looks like, see the whole process, see what's going on. But I did want to point out that it's actually busier than I expected. You guys saw the line of people in Estonia waiting to go to Russia, and there's been quite a few people from Russia coming to Estonia. But from my understanding, Estonia only has a few border crossings with Russia that are open, this being one of them. Even though this one's closed to cars, it's still open to pedestrians. So that would make sense why it may be a little bit busier, or maybe it's always this busy. But regardless, it's so awesome to see. So there's the border there, and I've got about 50 minutes till my train leaves, so I'm heading back to the train station. But first, I saw this church that I wanted to show you guys. Now today is Sunday, so that may explain why it's a little bit quieter, but like I said earlier, overall this is a really quiet and peaceful border town of Narva. Alright guys, so there's the train station, and I will show you guys the border crossing set up in there. And I'm assuming the reason why it's not used at the moment is probably because of the Russia-Ukraine war. I know a lot of countries that had cross-border passenger rail service with Russia suspended that service after Russia invaded Ukraine. So I'm assuming that's the case with this one, because I'm assuming they probably had like a St. Petersburg to Tallinn service at one point. This is where the border crossing took place on the Estonian side. But regardless, it's still all set up there, and they could have cross-border services, rail service at a minute's notice. What a nice train station.